y'all, it's Liz. Okay, as you can tell by the title, I'm going through the big D, divorce, and I don't mean Dallas. Let me start by saying that there's a lot that's been going on in my life. I know I've had friends calling and everybody, wondering, hey, what's up, Liz? Haven't heard from you. You don't answer your phone and da-da-da-da-da. Well, y'all know I don't answer my phone. But there's a lot of things that's going on. So we'll start with the title of this video. As you guys know, my son had married in 2009. Matter of fact, June of 2009, he married a girl here from town. And if you guys can remember my video, I ranted about that because I was so livid that he would marry her. Because I told him, I said, hey, she's a dirty, dirty ass bitch. She's, when he was gone to basic training, she was sleeping with everybody. And I told him, I said, and I know this for a fact, when she's not the one for you, don't marry her. Mom, but I love her and I'm going to marry her. And I begged him. I begged him to a point where Steve and I didn't go to the wedding. And Steve had told him, the night before the wedding, Sean came over and we talked. And even though I was really mad at him for wanting to marry this girl, it wasn't my place. Let him make his own mistakes is what I thought. And he begged me and Steve to come to the wedding, and Steve told him no. He said, you know what? He said, since we don't approve of this marriage, we're not going to come. But I'll be at your next wedding. And my son was like, there's not going to be a next wedding. This is it. So we let it be. They got married. And then when I had posted my video, a lot of people said, hey, that's not right, Liz. You shouldn't, talk down about her and this and that. That's your son's wife or soon-to-be wife. And I basically just said, hey, fuck you. This is my goddamn channel. If you don't like it, fuck you. My thing is that, and like I told her, I love him unconditionally. See, and when I said that, what I mean is, doesn't matter what he does. He can go out and sleep with other women. He can go out and impregnate other women and do whatever he wants to do. But he's mine, and I'm going to continue to love him no matter what. Unconditional love is, to me, is what a parent has for their child. You might not have it with your spouse, which you should, but unconditionally. You have it with your children. And so they got married. He got stationed out in New Mexico. He took the bitch with him. And we had a very rocky relationship because whenever we would call, it was real short. Unless she wasn't home, then he would talk. It was like she had basically, have you ever met anybody who would just basically take someone and keep them away from their family because their life is so miserable? They want you to join in with them. So as long as I'm miserable, you could be miserable with me, and you don't have to talk to your parents, and you don't have to talk to your sister or your grandmother or your aunts and uncles. Yeah, that ain't cool. But he called and said, okay, well, we got base housing. They were happy. They had a beautiful house on base. A few months later, he calls and he says, well, we moved off base and, because other people that had children wanted the base housing and da-da-da-da-da. So okay. And I called my brother Wayne. And at the time, Wayne was, he was still active duty. And I told him about that situation. He said, that don't even sound right. He said, because there's a waiting list. They're not going to just say, okay, we're going to move you out and put these people in. There's a waiting list. He said, no, sister, there's something wrong. He said, something happened where he's not living on base. So, anyways, he got a place off base. It was very expensive. And we had went out. We made a trip out to New Mexico in February of this year. And I didn't have a very good feeling, you know, when we got there. Steve and I went to his house, and we got a little tour of his house. And the thing is, when I went into the bathroom, in the master bedroom bathroom, there was no girly stuff in there. I thought, all I saw was a towel laid out on the sink, and on this towel was one toothbrush, toothpaste, a razor, shaving cream, like floss, just men's stuff. And I thought, that's kind of odd that there's no women's stuff in here. There was nothing that said his wife was living there. So he had his pin-on ceremony. We went to that, and we got there, and everything was cool. They started to do the ceremony. Here comes my son, and I said, he's in uniform, and I'm thinking, where's your wife? He was like, no, Mama, I'll tell you about that later. Well, after that, we didn't really talk about it anymore. You know, we met up with him and his wife, and we went to dinner. And, you know, a mother knows her babies. I know my babies. And I knew something wasn't right. And I just, you know how when you hug them, you can tell. It's like, because we are like one, I could tell that there was something wrong, but didn't know what. So we got ready to leave. The next morning after the ceremony, we were leaving to go back to San Antonio. And in the car on the way home, Steve had said, well, I asked him, I said, how do you feel about the children? You know, about our son and his wife. And he said, well, I feel a little bit better. And I said, I don't. And he said, what? And I said, I just don't feel good about this. And he was like, you need to stop being negative. Negative? Who's negative? I'm telling you, damn it, that I know there's something wrong. And I said, oh, well, I'm telling you that something in the milk ain't clean. I don't know what it is, but I know there's something wrong. We left San Antonio on Saturday, got back home. Wednesday he called, and he said, Dad, he said, is Mom there? And Steve said, yeah, she's here. He said, well, can you put me on speakerphone because I want to talk to both of you? And my heart just sank, and I thought, Lord, please, please don't tell me that bitch is pregnant. Please. Well, sure enough, he says, I just wanted to call and let you guys know that I am going to divorce Kelly. What? You know, so we're all like, wow, what? I'm jumping inside and I'm clapping, doing cartwheels and flips and splits and everything else, you know, on the inside, that is. And he said, well, the truth is, the reason that we don't live on base anymore is because she was arrested for cocaine and marijuana. And that automatically, even though she was the one arrested for it, they barred her from base. They kicked her off base. She's not allowed on that base ever. And he, being the husband, was like, okay, I could still live on base, but she can't. That wasn't going to work, so they moved off base. I let the bitch just hang her own damn self, but that's me. Then he said she was going to go to trial for that. She hasn't been yet, but she's going to. Then she got arrested right after we left. Now, since March, she's been arrested 6 times since March of this year. Hug a thug in New Mexico. That's basically what it is. You can commit a crime in New Mexico and get away with it. That's just how it is. She had an assault charge against her from Sean, my son. She got off on that. She was picked up for felony arrest on burglary charges, where she was, what do they call that when you get rid of stolen property? And her boyfriend, which this whole time when we were in New Mexico, she had an apartment with her boyfriend. Her and Sean wasn't living together. But they hadn't been living together 4 months prior to February. So, and he was paying her rent and this and that. And then she started calling the First Shirt, and saying, well, Sean needs to give me money and this and that. So it got Sean in some trouble. But he's paying her, every payday, he pays her $118. Because that's the difference between his housing allowance for married and single. So that's what he pays her. And he called and he said, well, I got this new place and da-da-da, I need some money. So we sent him the money for rent, his deposit and all for his new place. And I told him then, I said, I don't mind helping you, but if I find out that you're helping her, I will cut you off. I will drop you like a bad habit. And I meant that. No, Mama, that's not going to happen. I'm done with her. She's sleeping with other men. She's doing drugs. And I wondered how she lost like 80 pounds in 3 months. September, October, November, December, January, February, in 5 months. I seen her in September here in town. She was a big heifer. And then I see her in February and she's went from like 220 to like 110. How do you do that shit? And so Nikki says, Mama, ain't nothing but drugs. I was like, what? She was like, everybody in town knows that girl does drugs. She's big. She's one of the biggest crackheads. That bitch was doing, but I noticed, I told Steve months and months and months prior, because I'm on Sean's banking account. His wife was never on it, but I was. But money was being taken out like every 3 or 4 days, $400 or $500. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I called Sean because we had loaned him money to get him out of debt, like $900 something. I put it in one day, and within 2 days, all of it was gone. And I called him. He was like, "No, Mom, I got it. Don't worry." And I was like, "No, I am worried, goddammit, because I told you. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but when people start withdrawing that kind of money that you don't have, because the bank does that overdraft protection. When you start pulling money out that you don't have, that's drug money. It's damn sure not alcohol money. Shit, y'all might know people that can drink $400 or $500 in a couple of days. I don't know anybody like that. But I know a goddamn crackhead and a drug addict that needs a hit or another fix that can pull out that kind of money that, basically steal it. All this has been coming up and going on and going on and going on. So he calls and he says, okay, I found this lawyer, but he needs money up front. Okay, how much do you need? Let me give it to you, because I wouldn't give a fuck if it cost me $10,000 for your divorce, as long as you get it. I will pay I will sell my soul to the motherfucking devil to get you divorced from this fucking whore that I can't stand. Because Mama wants to be happy too. So he told me, I immediately transferred the money to his account. He went and paid a lawyer. Last week, they served her. So she has 30 days to comply, with an attorney or something. She's not entitled to anything, even though she wanted his car. Bitch, you must be fucking out of your mind. Hell, let her have it. Hell, you still owe $10,000 on it. Let her have it. No, I'm just bullshit. I said, now before we do that, we'll put it in Daddy's name. She ain't getting a car, but she's not entitled to any money. So, anyways, he's getting a divorce from this no good whore. Look, I can't say that I prayed on it every day, but there was many a nights that I did pray. Lord, let him see that she's not the one. Lord, let him see it. And finally he did. It's taken him just under 2 years to realize that she's not the one. You know, she was trouble from day one, and she's still trouble. You know, I did have a conversation with her father, which, you know, like I told Steve, hey, somebody hold me back because I'm going to go knock them goddamn dreadlocks out of his head and beat the shit out of him, make him come out that wheelchair. How about that? You know, so the way I see it, he kissed my ass too. I don't give a fuck about him. I don't give a fuck about her mammy. None of them. You know, her mother's the same way, and like I said, that apple don't fall far from the motherfucking tree. You know, they have a very rocky relationship. Too bad, so sad for them. And I told Sean, I said, why would you even want to get caught up in a family like this? You're telling in front of my son before he was even married to your daughter, you know, I never really loved him, talking about her husband and this and that. And I told Sean, I said, you know, you come from a family where your mother and father shows affection every day. You know, we don't do those kind of things. We don't talk like that. We love each other. We brought you up in a very loving, slightly dysfunctional family, but aren't we all a little dysfunctional? But Sean was raised in a house that had a lot of love, and we showed affection. We kiss, we hug, Steve pinches my bottom still to this day. He taps me on my ass. You know, to marry into a family that's so dysfunctional, where nobody got it right. You know, but thank you, Jesus, that, you know, he's finally opened his eyes and he's getting this divorce. Hopefully by next month this time, he will be done with this girl. You know, I personally do not wish her any harm. You know, all I do wish is that for her to be a better wife to another man than she ever was to my son. And that's the God's honest truth. I don't want any bad to come to her, but I do wish her a better wife to someone else than she ever was to my son, because she wasn't a good wife. She wasn't a good friend. She wasn't even a good freaking nightmare to my son. She was nothing. You know, she drug him down. She belittled him. You know, she was so much bigger. I mean, she was as big as me, and my son's tiny. You know, but, you know, God works in mysterious ways. He took him down this path, let him see what was really happening. You know, and like you said, for her sleeping with another man, she left my son. She left him for the cashier at Taco Bell. Okay. You know, anyways, I'm just happy that he's okay and that he is beyond, I'm so ready, Mom. I'm ready to live my life. I'm a 22-year-old man. I'm going to be single. You know, the funny thing is, he goes to church. She doesn't. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it. But, yeah, so he's going through the big D. And I don't mean Dallas. But Mama's happy. And like I told him, I don't care what it costs me. I'm going to be right there. And the day that it becomes official, Grandma already says she's celebrating. We're having a party. And everybody's invited. I might just invite her family. You know, because they swear that they're not going to get a divorce, that they're going to work it out. No, motherfucker, I done paid my money. They getting a divorce. That's the way it works. But anyways, y'all, so that's what's happening with him. I've taken up 20 minutes of your time, but now you know the rest of the story. And that's another reason that I haven't been getting on as often doing videos and stuff. I've really been trying to stay one step ahead of everything that's going on in my life, with my son, with my daughter. You know, Nikki's doing great. She was working at Applebee's. She quit that. Now she's out at the Marriott. So she's a Marriott girl, just like her mama used to be. And I'll be honest with you, once a Marriott girl, always a Marriott girl. So yeah, so she's got on with a really great company, a resort out there at the beach, and she loves her job. They pay her well. So she's doing really good. Me and Steve, we are absolutely wonderful. Yeah. So I am going to come back. I got another video to make about my table that my sugar pie made for me. And some people had asked some questions about it. They wanted to know as far as prices and stuff, how much it would cost to build this and what they would need as far as material. And I am going to come back and let you guys know that. But other than that, everybody, Sean is doing wonderful. You know, and that's Mama's little baby. That's my bear. And he's fine. You know. I'm going to be honest. He texts me every day. He tells me how much he loves his mama. And if that just doesn't bring joy to your life, I don't know what would. Anyways, my mother's doing wonderful. She walks every day. She gets up every morning. She goes to the walking park for 1 hour. She does a brisk walk. Her daughter, on the other hand, while she's out there walking, I'm sleeping. Yeah, but anyways. All right, you guys. Well, you have a wonderful day. I've taken up enough of your time. Now that you know what's going on with me and why I've been slightly missing in action is because there's a lot going on in my life, and I have to make sure that I stay one step ahead of everybody else when it comes to my son and his issues. So, all right. Well, you guys have a great day, and I'm fixing to come back with a couple of videos about the table, and then one on a giveaway that I'm doing where there's going to be 5 winners. So I'll be back with that in just a minute. Deuces. Bye.